Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Joyful House. And if you will give me just a moment, I would like to play the intro for our time together. Here we go. All right. Hello and welcome in once again to the Joyful House. My name is Cynthia of Cynthia's Joyful Creations. And those of you who've been with me for a minute, I am sure you are noticing there is a change in tonight's title, and I will explain all that in a minute. And if you are new here, welcome in. So good to have you here at the Joyful House. Let's see who we do have here with us. All right. Hello and welcome in Candi, Nuggy Nuggies. And she says, sorry, I'm missing it. My eyes are closed and I'm in dreamland. I know she has to get up very early in the morning. So grateful that she came over and said hello. Hello, Samantha. How are you? Samantha, are you on vacation yet? Or when do you go? I cannot remember. So glad to have you here. And hello, Margie. So glad I got to spend some time over at your house this afternoon. And hang out with you and Granny D. That was a lot of fun. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming in and welcoming each other. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. And hello to the lovely Angela. We had a beautiful play date today. Thank you again for spending that time with me, Angela. Enjoyed every minute of it. And she is saying hello to everyone, and she's drinking water, and she is working on her crochet hook case. So can't wait for her to finish that so we can all see it. She promised that she would share it when she is done. All right, everyone is greeting each other. Thank you so much. Are you doing the Jubilant Tea Party still? I am not, and I will explain that in a minute. I'm combining Joy House Playdates and the Jubilant Tea Parties, and we're going to have Joy House Tea Parties, and I will explain that a little bit later on. But right now, I just want to welcome everyone in and give everyone great big nugs. All right. And if you're new here, don't let nugs scare you. That is simply just a great big hug around the neck. One day I was talking fast. And instead of saying hugs, I said nugs, and it just kind of stuck. So that is just a great big old hug around the neck. And love to give as many of those as we can. Hello, Lisa. So good to see you again. Got to spend some time with Lisa as well over at Margie's when her and Granny D were live. So good to see you here in the Joyful House. And let's see, who else do we have here? Hello, Dawn P. Dawn, I do need to give you a quick call tonight if that's okay when we finish up. We're going to finish up about 9:15, 9:30. So if that's not too late, may I just give you a quick call? I only need about 5 or 10 minutes. So just let me know in the chat if that'll work. And hope you'll stick around because I took a suggestion of yours and so glad I did. So glad I did. All right. And she is saying hello to everyone. And Mr. Joyful, I'll be sure and let him know that you said hello. You guys, we've got the beautiful, sweet Pam in the house. Pam, remind me again what time you go live on Thursday nights. I am trying to be, and everyone can testify to this, when I was doing Joy House Playdates on Thursday, which was new. We had only done it a couple weeks, but trying to be respectful and make sure we finish up here at the Joyful House so we can go on over to your house. So if you will, drop that in the chat for me so I can make sure I kind of joyfully send everyone your way. We'll be in the background listening as I am visiting with family. Oh. Well, I promise if we can just chat for just a few moments, I won't take very long. I just need to share something with you. All right. Pam says 8 Central Standard Time. So that is 9 o'clock here. So we'll just try to keep these right at 1 hour and finish up about 9:15. So we'll be a little bit late, Pam. But, and of course, if someone wants to go ahead and go on over, they can. But we'll make sure that we are as respectful to come on over to your house. All right. Okay. I'm at the bottom of the chat. If I can get some friends to drop me some emojis, that will be most helpful. I'm going to jump right on in because I have quite a few things I want to share. And we're going to keep this right at an hour. So want to definitely make sure we get them done so that we have a few moments just to hang out and see what's going on with all of you. So thank you so much for those of you that are dropping those emojis. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Margie and Lisa. Pam, are you going live tonight? Your time today, my time, is what Lisa has asked. And Pam says she is. All right. As you can see, the title has changed, and I will jump into that in just a little bit. But first, since it is considered a tea party, let's get started with our tea. Now, I've been doing tea parties with the Joy team for quite some time, and I barely got started with the channel. But in the meantime, I have been waiting to try something. I bought it like before Christmas from Hobby Lobby, and until this recent event in my life, I had not tried it. And we unboxed it about a week ago, and I don't know how I have survived without it. So it will be a very big part of tea parties as well as my day-to-day life. But I have this really cool picture, and many of you may have something similar, but as you can see, it has no cord attached to it, but it has this base and it is plugged in. And so this is the base, and this is as far as I can bring it over before knocking everything off. And we don't want to do that. And so that base does stay plugged in, but there's a button here. And when I push this button, when it's on the base, there's lights. All these little kind of divots you see at the bottom, those are lights, and it actually lights up blue, and it'll bring it to a boil. And you're going to hear it in a moment because it does get a little bit loud, but not like excruciating loud. And when it's completely heated, the lights will go off and it's ready for me to use. And I love the fact that it automatically cuts off on its own. And then when I finish my cup of tea, all I gotta do is push that button and it starts again, and I can quickly make my tea really quickly. So let me go ahead and turn it on, and we'll come back and do that in a moment. The mug that I have chosen for tonight, it will make more sense later, but I chose my Trust the Journey mug. So that is our mug for tonight. I hold it like this so you won't be able to see that part, but it is going to be appropriate for tonight when we get into it. All right. Now, with the Joy team, I was using a certain tea with them, and with the Joy Jubilant tea parties with the channel, I was using a different tea with them. Since I'm combining those two tea parties along with the Joy House Playdate to make Joy House Tea Party, I decided to go to the tea that I was doing with the Joy team. This is an advent calendar that my boss gave me for my 3-year anniversary with the practice. And so I just use a tea bag, every tea party. And so it actually correlated with their tea party numbers, but unfortunately, since this is our first, the numbers are going to be off, but that's okay. We'll just dive right in to the tea and keep going. And so the next one that I would go to would be number 13, I believe. Guess I should have done that ahead of time. Yes, it's number 13, and it's right here on the Advent calendar. So let me grab that. And what I like about this also, and the Joy team knows this, there's a little saying behind it. And this one says, I don't know what it says. Is it Rubos? Roobos? Okay. Oh, that's the name of the tea. See, it's been so long since I've done this. I'm out of practice, y'all. But it says, clean out your closet and donate a winter jacket or more to a local charity. Now, remember, this is a Christmas Advent tea calendar, so a lot of times it does refer to Christmas little things. But all right, we got our tea, so let me put that to the side. And this particular tea is an herbal tisane tea, and Rubos, I guess, is the type of tea that it is. And it says it's a mellow South African brew. How cool is that? And I love it. Not all of them on the Advent calendar are caffeine free, but all the tea that I choose to drink is caffeine free. And I'm happy to say that this one is too. So you can see right here at the top, it says caffeine free. And it says rest and relax. So that means this is going to be a really soothing type tea. And oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever had a tea from Africa before. So this will be fun and exciting. All right. I really wish you could see this teapot lit up. And I'm just curious if I take it. Yeah, it turns the light off. But that blue light just illuminates up through the teapot. So it's really, really pretty. You know what? If y'all want to close your eyes a minute, I'm just going to turn the camera a minute so you can see if it'll allow me to do that. Let's see. Well, it doesn't look blue there, but it is blue. And you can see it's coming to a boil. So I love that. But you can see that it's lit up. But it's a bright, bright blue for me. It doesn't look bright blue for you. All right. Let me try and fix this back. I apologize, not trying to make anyone dizzy. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll put that together when it is ready. And while I get the tea bag open, I want to go ahead and celebrate all those that are having birthdays. And if you're having a birthday this week and you're not in this list of names, then you need to share that with me. You can do it in the chat or you can email me. My email is in the description box of this live, and I would be happy to have that so we can help you celebrate. But if you will, this week, the birthdays that I do know about are my friend Beverly that I talk about quite a bit. Her birthday was yesterday. She turned 84 years old. And y'all pray for her. She fell a couple days ago. Well, it's been a week ago today, actually. And she has 7 staples in her head. So she is recovering. What a way to spend your birthday. But we also have the lovely Ashley from Sunflowers Creative Showcase and Crochet. Our beautiful Jen Rees. Our Jean, she used to be Wilma, a.k.a. Stitch by Jean, but her new channel name is Jean's Crafty Creations. I love it. And Jamie from Jamie's Hook, and Sabrina. I always say this wrong. I think it's Melodus, and Nancy McDonald, our sweet Nancy. So if y'all will, join me in singing happy birthday to all of them. All right. I'm going to go back to the chat. I've got our tea bag ready. Can you hear that? Is it loud? Let me know if you can hear that coming to a boil. And this is the cute little dish that I use to keep my little stirring spoon in. It's one of my boys' baby spoons when they were a baby. I have a long one that says Choose Joy on it that I keep in my tea bag that I take to work and whenever I go to visit my parents. So it's kind of like my traveling one, but this is the one for sitting here in the studio. All right, let's head to the chat and go find those emojis. Hello, Tina. Welcome in. So glad you're here. Thank you so much, Lisa, for welcoming Tina in. And once again, happy birthday to all those that are celebrating a birthday. All right. So we're going to head over and spin the wheel. If you remember, we did not spin the wheel for March's giveaway for leaving comments on the channel. And so we need to do that. But before we do that, I do want to get in and explain the title change and a couple quick changes that are going to be happening on the channel. Oh my goodness, you guys, if you will bear with me, we got some eagles that have landed. I know one of them has been here and I apologize to Miss Margie. I didn't already acknowledge it, but if you will help me, we got 3 eagles here and let's welcome them in as they have landed. We have the lovely Kim here with us. Welcome in, Kim. We have the eagle Margie here with us, and we have the eagle Tiffany here with us. So welcome in, eagles. And I see that Jen is here, and she just missed us singing happy birthday. So everyone, help me wish Jen a happy, happy birthday. All right. And that teapot is getting a little bit louder. No one has said if they could hear it or not. So I'm just curious if you can hear it. Hello, Moon Rose. Welcome into the Joyful House. So glad you're here. This might be the first time you've joined us. So welcome in. And Moon Rose, this is going to be for you. Bear with me. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Here we go. Oh no, Jen says just as she was getting cake, an ad popped up. So let me pop up her birthday cake one more time. I just got to get back over to it, Miss Jen. Happy birthday. All right. Hello, Sunita. Welcome into the Joyful House. She says, was it your birthday, Royalty? Happy birthday. All right. Hello, sweet Connie. Welcome in. She says, howdy, Cynthia. How are you doing today? I am ready to play. I am reworking a shawl design that previously went wrong. Bless your heart. Well, I hope you get that figured out. And I am doing much, much better. And we're about to actually jump into that for a very, very short period. And then we're going to head over to the wheel. Thank you guys so much for welcoming each other in. I appreciate that so much. And all of you that are wishing Jen a happy birthday. All right. If someone will be kind enough to drop me some more emojis, I would greatly appreciate that. All right, so as you can see, the title up above has changed from Joy House Playdate, and I think we only did like 3 playdates. And I know I'm doing some more spring cleaning. As many of you know, I had to cancel all my lives last week. My sugar has continued to be in the 300s and 400s. It began around February 4th after I caught a cold from my boss, and then I caught that E. coli bacteria, and it just seems to have not been able to play nice. And so Thursday of last week, I woke up and I had some physical things that had happened that emulated a stroke, but I don't believe I had one. But I did call and ask my boss to give me an hour, hour and a half before coming in. He said, since I was caught up, take the day. So I did. And as that progressed throughout the day and back and forth with the doctor's office, he finally called me. He's out of town this week. He's vacationing in Florida. Then he'll be heading to Charleston and another week off in May. And I certainly understand, but he said that he wanted a note from my doctor saying I was okay to work, because he would have felt bad if something happened to me at work and no one was there. And we always keep the office door locked so no one would be able to get in, because it's a key code. Our teapot has come to a full boil. Look at that. So we're ready. So let me go ahead and pour the tea in, or the water in, and we'll get this tea seeping. So it'll be ready for this tea party. But is that not cool, you guys? Like I said, I don't know how I have managed without that, but I am so grateful to have that in my life. Hobby Lobby, $16. All right. So long story short, I am certainly not upset with him. Unfortunately, my doctor is out of town, and her nurse has pretty much said, well, she didn't put me out of work, so she can't give me a note to put me in work or say that I'm fit for work. But I do go back to her on June 20th to see how my body's responding to the insulin. I started the insulin about 2 weeks ago, and every 3 days, if I don't fall in this target range, I'm increasing by 2 units. So I've gone from 12 units and I'm up to 22 units a day now. So worst case scenario, I may be out of work until June 20th appointment with her. When she comes back on the 22nd of April, I am hoping to see if I can move that appointment up. But if not, then we will just jump on this adventure and see where it goes. I have good news to share that the last 3 days, I have not been in the 400s. Never thought I would be so grateful to be in the 300s, but I am. And so y'all just help me continue praying. I checked it right before I came on, and it was actually reading 295. God is good. So this rest that I've been taking has been very, very helpful. So in this time off, Mr. Joyful and I have done a lot of praying and a lot of talking and reconsidering things. And we have made some major life changes. Many of you know that we've started walking again, and that's really cool. We have this wonderful island out in front of us. So I said, if I could walk it one time, I'll build up to walking it twice. Well, since we started from the get-go, I have been able to actually make 2 rounds. Had to have some assistance getting back up the steps, because 2 rounds was almost just a little bit too much. But you know what? We're going to get there. Some things that we've kind of gotten away from is, food meals. So my meals are different from his and mom's, and that's okay. And I'm back to doing protein shakes. Had gotten away from doing those every morning. I am back to doing that. So I think that has had a lot of help in it. But anyway, this is where we're at. And I have made some changes to the Joy team, and I have made some changes to the channel. The Joy team, I'm not going to get into that. I addressed that with them, and everyone is good to go. I will have to do a new member live video, so y'all just bear with me through that. I know just one just finally went out. It only took me 3 years to get that one done, so hopefully it won't take me long to get this other one done and get it updated. But I made 2 changes to the channel. And so how does that affect you? Well, hopefully not too bad. So as you know, we had been providing a joy word with every video and live, and you were given an opportunity to use that joy word in a sentence to earn an entry on the monthly giveaway wheel. And then if you left in a sentence about what you enjoyed most about the video or the live, you got a second entry. Well, the joy words are going away from the videos and the lives, so you don't have to use it to leave to leave it in a sentence for an entry. However, we are going to still have it right here in this live as kind of a food for thought, because those words are very, very encouraging, and I think can be helpful to all of us. The wheel. we will not have a monthly will, because obviously if I don't have an income and I'm responsible for the mortgage and the car payment, then I need to make sure those are taken care of first. And God is good. Right now, we can get through the end of June without any extra. But after that, I do have a small income that is able to help with that. I just have to sell enough crochet to make my car payment. My car is almost paid for. So we are praying about maybe using the income tax. And if we do that, then my car will be paid off by December. And of course, that will lower the payment. And we're also getting ready. We're way over for refinancing the house. So we're going to do that when we also take on a loan to get our roof done, because our roof needs to be done. But anyway, I say all that to say that God's got us. He always has. And so the wheel is not going away, but instead of being monthly, it will be quarterly. And I'm not going to take up the live anymore to show y'all me putting the names on. I would hope after 5 years of being on YouTube that you guys know that you can trust me. What I will do is when we do the wheel, when we come together every Thursday, I will tell you how many times your name has gone on the wheel in that week's time. So that's what we're going to do. So that's one major change. And the second one is the title above. Instead of, again, having tea parties and play dates, we're going to combine it. So on Thursdays, we're just going to have a Joy House tea party. And so we're still going to do, finish makes, anyone that sends in finish makes, and we're still going to do bloopers. And so if you make any responses on the comments from a live or video or the post, the community post, you automatically get an entry on the wheel. If you send in a picture of a finish make, you get 2 entries on the wheel. And again, we're going to spin those every 3 months. So we're going to spin it tonight, and we will spin it again April, May, June, the first time we come together in July. So the second week of every quarter, we will spin it. And that will be the first time we come together in that month. Because as you know, the first Thursdays, we don't meet for our Joy House tea parties, because that is a night that I take for myself. And even though I'm going to be taking a lot more time for myself, I just want to keep things consistent. I'm a teacher by trade. It was one of my first jobs I ever did after college, and I'm too organized sometimes to a degree of a fault rather than an access or a whatever. But I love being consistent so that people can begin to realize, oh, that's when that's going to happen. So we're going to spin it tonight, and then we'll spin it again the first time we come together in July. There was one more thing I was going to say about the wheel. Just went out of my head that quick. Oh, well, if I remember, it will come back. So again, I feel like those changes are a little bit minor. So I don't think that they'll affect you guys greatly, but they will affect me greatly and giving me more time to just rest. So anyway, I can see the chat moving. So let me go over and check the chat, and then we're going to head over and do the wheel. But I do have one other thing I want to share before we do that. So let's go check on the wheel. Thank you, Lisa, so much for dropping those emojis for me. I found my spot right away. And Margie says, Connie, I'm doing good. Currently making another Agatha reading shawl, and it is beautiful. I think she said she's using a Stenley cake, and it's in these fall colors. It is beautiful. All right. Lisa said, what is $2.95? Y'all, this is a call all the way from New Zealand, but I'm going to decline it because we are in a live. Blooper. What is $2.95? We go by 5.6. I might have missed something. So Lisa, if you can, unless somebody answered that, if you can let me know what that means. Hello, Miss Linda. Welcome in. So glad you're here. Thank you guys so much for welcoming her in. And we have another eagle in the house. If you guys will help me welcome in Miss Sonja. Welcome into the Joyful House, Sonja. So glad you're here tonight. All right. And everyone is continuing to love on each other and greet each other. Thank you so much. That makes my heart smile. Oh, for your sugar, Cynthia. Oh, okay. So let me go back up. So 295 is my sugar level. And your sugar level should be, most doctors prefer for it to be between like 60 and 100. So when mine's in the 300s and 400s, it's not good. It causes a lot of confusion. You can ask the Joy team, bless their hearts. Sometimes they've had to put up with me not being able to hold a thought. And it was not the prettiest of lives. It was definitely a lifetime blooper. I get tired very, very easily. And anyway, it's just not good. So we need those sugars down low. So thank you for asking that. All right. Let's see. Just we don't go by the way you're saying. Oh, my A1C, maybe that's what you're referring to. Before I got sick and they went high, my A1C was 7.1 and it is currently at 8.6. That's not good. That's not good. So I'm at a risk, a very high risk of stroke, heart attack, and a diabetic coma. And so we're trying to prevent all that. And so that's why I'm not angry at my boss. I'm very grateful to have this time to heal and recoup, and that I'm taking it very seriously. And I know with everything I've been through, and we're not going through that right now, y'all all know, unless you're new. And if you're new, you're free to email me and I'll be happy to explain. But these folks have heard it enough. And trust me, God has a sense of humor. So he has a way of having me tell things that I don't even want to tell. But I know better. And as Mr. Joyful said, my biggest concern was he would be aggravated that here we go again. But he's not. He's been very supportive, very helpful, has done numerous things to show that support, that continued support. But he finally just out of the blue turned around last Saturday and said to me, you ask God all the time why he took you out of this world for 8.5 minutes and brought you back if you're going to continue to have these ups and downs with your health. And he said, did you ever stop and think that maybe he just wants you to live? You try to fill every moment of every day with something. You very seldom sit still. And maybe he just wants you to stop and smell the roses. And as we literally came home Friday from the urgent care, he literally had me stop in our yard and smell our roses. And, there's no better way for me to show y'all that I'm going to be okay if y'all will help me make these adjustments to the channel and to my life and give me that grace, which you've done so gracefully. I'm so grateful. I am truly blessed and gifted by each and every one of you. And undoubtedly, Mr. Joyful is my greatest gift. I try not to go biblical on anything but my Cup to Hook Bible Chats live. But if you'll give me some grace for just a moment to share something, then it'll help me express to y'all where I'm at, because this is the answer that God has given me. First off, I've told you it is hard for me to be still. And our lovely Wanda gave me a pen with that verse on it, Psalms 46:10, and it says, be still and know that I am God. It is my favorite pen besides my Ivy pens. So I alternate back and forth. But anyway, I think that's what God is telling me. And this stubborn girl is listening. And I'm only going to share this. I want you to take the thought and the reflection off of me. I'm hoping that this will be helpful for some of you. I know many of you, or some of you in the chat right now, are taking some time off of your channel because you need to recoup, whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, or even spiritually. And so that is why I'm sharing this. My goal in being Mrs. Joyful, if you will, in the Joyful House is to spread joy, to give and leave with others more joy than what they had when they came in the presence of me. With that being said, that's what I mean for this to be. So we're going to take the microscope, the spotlight off of me, and we're going to put it on all of us. And I hope that there's someone in this chat that this will be encouraging to. First off, we have to be willing to wait. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 25 and 26 says, "The Lord is good to those whose hope is in him, to the one who seeks him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord." Living with hope requires a willingness to wait. That's why sometimes it's so hard for us to be hopeful about a circumstance or situation we're in, because it is hard in general for a lot of us to be still, to be patient. Those are gifts that are very hard for some of us to obtain. And I'm one. Shakespeare wrote, "How poor are they that have not patience? What wound did ever heal but by degrees?" Thinking of a wound taking time to heal is a simple reminder of how hope and patience go together. If we see the wisdom of waiting, we'll be somewhere new before long. The problem is we just don't like waiting. Our impulse is to prize immediate gratification, that Burger King mentality. We want it our way right away. But good things take time. The delicious dinner that's cooking in the oven, the fruit and the flowers that are outgrowing in the yard. There's purpose in the waiting. It's not like being on hold on a call with customer service, simply losing time. When we're in the space of spiritual development, we're in the hands of the potter. He works on us, changing the way we think and view life and engage with it, just like he promised that he would. As we depend on him more, he's helping us know him better and deepening our closeness with him. It is good to wait, Jeremiah said, and the Lord is good to those who wait for him, as we read in Lamentations earlier. We wait because God is our portion, our inheritance, our one true source of goodness, our all in all. We trust that he has goodness for us now and later. So, okay, we know that to have hope, we have to wait. And it's hard for us to be patient, and it's hard for us to wait. So how do we do that? How will we wait? Well, Psalms chapter 130, verse 5 says, "I wait for the Lord. My whole being waits, and in his word I put my hope." Once we decide that we're willing to wait, we need to think about how we're going to wait. Will we be angsty and nervous? Will we be joyful and light? There's a difference between just surviving the time and actively waiting with expectation for that hope. Sometimes we'll need to take steps of obedience, as I'm doing, getting back into walking, getting back into having a protein shake in the morning. Even though I don't eat much, being even more careful about what I eat. I have dispersed any candy or anything that is not healthy to my other family members. And I feel like that's a double-edged sword, because it's like, I'm going to make them a diabetic. But I know sometimes my willpower may not be the greatest, especially when it comes to things like Tootsie Rolls and circus peanuts. So I have passed all those on. Like the Israelites, they had to take steps in being obedient when they walked around the walls of Jericho for days before God conquered it for them. Wouldn't you guess their impulse was to knock out their enemies in their own strength, on their own schedule? No, if you know that story, God just had them circle that military base with no weapons. having their enemies look down on them from their tall towers and laugh at them. And God had them not speak. They looked straight ahead and they just marched, circling. And it took them a day to go one full round. And they did that for several days. But they didn't do that. They didn't take matters into their own hands. They didn't create their own schedule. Instead, they did what God said. God said, do it my way and in my time, and I will be sure to bring victory in my power. And he did. He opened the gates of Jericho, that fortified military unit, and he just slaughtered them. And the Israelites had to raise not even a hand. Not one hair got lifted because they didn't even have to throw a punch. There will also be times when you need to make the purposeful decision to rest. Y'all, that's hard for me, but I've been doing it a lot, and I'm seeing results already. But we also have to rest in God's promises, rest in his present gifts and wonders, rest our mind from fixating on questions and problem-solving efforts. Friday, as we left urgent care, where I went to another doctor hoping they could just do like a well checkup on me and say, oh yeah, you're good to go. She couldn't do it. You're just starting on this insulin. Your doctor needs to approve it. You need to wait until your doctor comes back. And as we sat in that, and she suggested I go over to the ER and let them begin an immediate insulin drip to drop it drastically. And as we sat in that urgent care parking lot, my mind was sitting there trying to come up with other ways of how we could fix this so I could go to work on Monday morning. And finally, we just stopped and took a deep breath. And in prayer and praying, God reminded me, I don't need you to fix this. I need you to listen. I need you to quit being such a stubborn donkey and just rest. Slow down. So, his present gifts and wonders rest our mind from fixating on questions and problem solving. It requires an effort to stick with what's true. It's kind of like standing in front of the ocean, waiting for a boat to arrive, but our soul soaks in the beauty of the sunset as we keep looking out on the horizon for that boat. So ask God to help you pursue his way of living right now as you actively look forward to what's coming later. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen in a month. I don't know what's going to happen after June 20th, but I do know this. I do know that I'll be well taken care of. And I know that this is not the first time that God has done this for me. I mean, to have a job and go in for surgery only to be 2 years before I could walk again, 2.5 years before I could work again, drive again. God took care of us. We wanted for nothing. I know some of you are going through some difficult times because in this time off, I've been able to have a lot more one-on-ones with some of you, and I know that you're going through a hard time. And since God revealed this to me in this morning's devotion, that's where all this came from. I thought, oh my gosh, God, I've got to share this. I've got to share this. And so thankful that I had that devotion with him this morning, because if not, I wouldn't have this to share. And I know that there must be somebody here, if not more than one, that needed to hear this. I do want to also leave you with this. Let me go over and find it. When you live with hope, you're not living only in response to what you see and what you feel. You're living in response to the great I am, the one who is and always has been, the one you can always count on. He says, I am the force that made you. I can sustain you and I can provide for you. I can care for you and I can help you. I can make things new. When you live with hope, you're living in response to the one who said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. That came from John chapter 14, verse 6. So that leads me to one more thought for you. When you're uncertain, but yet you're certain. Deuteronomy 7:9 says, the Lord your God, he's faithful, keeping his covenant, of love to 1,000 generations. Anxiety is often a response to uncertainty. I can tell you, I have gotten anxious over a lot of situations, and I started to be anxious over this one until I remembered God took me through with not having a job for 2.5 years. He can surely get me through 2.5 months. Will we be okay? If we don't know a good God who is on the throne, it is definitely maddening. But you and I know this good God that sits on the throne. And this means that we can be certain about the biggest stuff. He will stay with us. He will care for us. He will provide for us and work all things for good. He will always be the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. There's no question of whether we can trust his power and wisdom. Yet, we may be uncertain of the details. What do we do with that? Well, first off, he is the author of our story. So we don't have to be in the details because he is in and all over the details. But Elizabeth Elliot says, waiting on God requires the willingness to bear uncertainty, to carry within oneself the unanswered question, lifting the heart of God about it whenever it intrudes upon one's thoughts. This is a practice that we'll do over and over whenever uncertainty rises. We lift up the questions and we lift up our anxious heart. And then we say, my trust is in you, God. My trust is in your character. We make the decision not to live in the merry-go-round of questions and anxiety, but we stay in the trust of the one who has the details. So I hope all that's been as helpful to you as it has been to me. All right, let me check on the chat, and then we're going to go over and spin the wheel and see who we can share some joy with. But I thank you for, again, giving me the grace to continue to make these changes until we get it right. And as we continue to grow together so that we can continue to spend good and quality and joyful time together. All right. Let me go back up and see where we left off. And thank you, guys. Yes, y'all are all saying amen to Todd. He is truly a gift. And we had a brief conversation about that earlier when he first got home. I just reminded him how grateful I am for him and how much I love him. All right. And Moon Rose had to head on out. She may already have, but Nugs, thank you so much for coming over. All right. Sonja says, hope is a confident expectation in the promises of God. Amen. Amen. She says, that is my favorite definition of hope. Absolutely. And that's what hope is. Thank you, Sonja. She said that was a blessing. Thank you, Margie, for the tea party emoji. I will now find my way back. So let's go over to the wheel, you guys. So again, this is from all the entries from March. And so here we go. All right. Our winner is Doris Artman. And I know Miss Doris is not here. So I will try to reach out to her. If you guys see her, let me know. Because we are moving our new wheel quarterly, she will have 2 weeks to get in touch with me. And if she doesn't get back in touch with me, then we'll have to spin it again. But I'm doing something new. I had started this with the Joy team with their wheel, and they now know that there's only going to be one wheel. So whether they comment on the Joy team stuff, it will automatically go onto this wheel. But I have this little envelope. It says my lovely patterns, but that's not what I'm using it for. And in it, I'm keeping these little envelopes. I got this idea from our sweet Ivy B Creates when she does her bingos. But Miss Doris will be able to pick an envelope, and you in the future will be able to pick an envelope 1 through 10. I had Mr. Joyful put the slip of paper inside, so I don't even know which prize is in the envelope. So it'll be a surprise for me as well. But in this case, Miss Doris will get to pick one of these envelopes 1 through 10, and whatever prize is in her envelope, that's what she's going to get. Since she is not here in the live, I can't pick for her, and I can't show you what her prize is going to be. But when I do finally hear from her and she picks a number, whoop, I will make sure in that following Joy House Tea Party that I share with you what she picked and what she's getting, so you'll be able to be in on all that fun and excitement as well. And maybe she'll drop in here before we finish up tonight. All right. So let's move on. And we're getting close to the end of time, so we are not going to have an opportunity for anyone to come up on panel tonight, but we will definitely start that because we won't have all this to go through next week because we've already done it. So, all right, so the next thing we have is the makes that have been turned in and bloopers. Are you guys ready for that? Here, let me get this ready. Is the makes that were turned in since we were last together and the bloopers. Sit back and enjoy. Chapters. Let me take a look here. Thought I had them memorized, but I do not. We are going to be reading chapters 11 and 12. And chapter 11 is, okay, we got to start this over. I can't read with my glasses, can't read without them. I've done so many videos today, I forgot which one I was getting ready to do. Okay, this is going to be the Potiversary giveaway, guessing the yarn ball bands. So Before we jump in and look at those ball bands and get this party going, let me just share your. So let's talk about joy. All right. The definition of joy is, and I thought I had it ready, and I didn't. So we're going to make this a blooper. I know the word joy is in here. Where is joy? Where's the joy? Did you find my joy? There's the joy. Okay. Take 2. Or actually, I guess it's take 3. Hello, Joy family. Welcome to this Sunday Once Upon a Storybook. Welcome to the Joyful House. Thank you for coming today as we reveal the Joy Team's Mystery Make-Along number 8 showcase. So this project couldn't wait to cough afterwards. 20 years ago today, Mr. Joyful. Okay, let's try this again. You can use whatever hook size you want depending on what size pillow you want to make. If you want to make one even bigger, you can increase the hook size. And if you want to make one even smaller, you can decrease the hook size. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, I didn't even have it going. Hello, Joy family. Welcome to the Joyful House. It is Monday, April the 14th. We might get this video done. And it's going to start over. And I did eventually get all of those videos done, but hope you enjoyed those beautiful makes of our wonderful Joy family. And as always, my craziness through those bloopers. There's never a dull moment here. That is for sure. All right, let me check on the chat, and then we're going to do our little joy word. Let's see. Finding way back. Oh, first off, by the way, you guys, I owe Angela an apology. I noticed that I had an extra I in her last name. So I apologize for the misspelling of your name, Angela. And then also I saw that Lisa had left. So definitely wanted to give her a great big nug and joy out. Hope she has a great afternoon. All right. Now let's see. And thank you, by the way, all of you that were loving her out while that video was playing. I do too, Tina. I do love seeing what everyone has made. Right, Sonja? They all did beautiful work, including yourself. She says, I love them all. The crosses are awesome. Yes, those crosses that Miss Shirley made. Aren't those beautiful? Miss Cynthia, you missed my make that I emailed you. I have not, Margie. That was a video that I had ready when I was going to go live and had to cancel them. I already had it made up and ready for last week's live. So all of you that have sent a make into me in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, they will be here next Thursday. Instead of going back and redoing and adding in all of those, I decided to go with what was already done and ready. And then I'll just have those to share with next week. So you guys know that you'll have something from Miss Margie, and Sonja has a couple more that she sent in, and I believe Angela has sent in some more. So there'll be some more coming. We'll just show them next week. I didn't want to go back and undo the work because after all, I'm trying to rest. So we'll catch them next week. All right. Let's see. Tiffany says, I was having some internet issues, so I had to restart my computer. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Here is our joy word for today. Remember, you do not have to leave a comment anymore using this word. This is just kind of food for thought. And your joy word, actually, I should say joy words, are better together. And I thought, what a great group of words to get us started off for this first Joy House Tea Party. But also, as I shared some of the ups and downs I'm going through and this kind of fresh start. Better together means finding strength in unity and collaboration. And there is definitely a sense of unity in this beautiful, beautiful community that we have. So better together is finding strength in unity and collaboration. And so what does that mean here in the Joyful House? Well, in the Joyful House, that means building supportive relationships that helps everyone grow stronger. So I hope some of the flaws and mistakes that I have, I hope some of the real life bloopers that I'm having to navigate through, I'm hoping that more than anything, that they will just be an encouragement to you that, yes, we're all going to have struggles, but we can overcome them, especially when we truly support one another. When we are not only giving grace to each other, but we're giving grace to ourselves. Or we're not only giving grace to ourselves, but we're extending it to others. So building supportive relationships that helps everyone grow stronger. So I am definitely excited about this adventure that we're going to be embarking on as we start our Joy House tea parties going forward. All right. I had someone ask me if I was still doing my little wheel of what I'm going to be working on to share with y'all. And the answer is yes. Currently, a while back, the wheel chose for me, excuse me. And you know what? Let's try our African tea. I think it's cooled off enough now that I can give it a go and give it a try. Plus, I really need to drink something. It's a little bit stronger of a tea. I'm going to stir that up a little bit. Make sure that water in the tea is mixed really good. And for being caffeine free, I'm kind of surprised how strong it is, but it is a strong tea. But not bad. It just has a very caffeine tea taste to it. I don't really sense a flavor. So, African tea. But it chose Stranger Things for me. And so I am currently working on that. And yes, I have not been working on it, but I am caught up with everything else on the channel. Maybe a little bit behind on some emails, but I'm going to be working on those. But other than that, I am caught up. And so I know I've been saying this, so forgive me that I'm going to say it again, but this time I mean it. Not that I didn't mean it before. I just didn't expect to have this up and down roller coaster of health and medical issues. In other words, life is living itself and I can't control it. No shocker there. I don't think any of us can control life. But once I finish the Stranger Things blanket, then we'll bring that wheel back in and spin it again. And once I have all those unfinished whips done, then we're going to pull out some books that I'm going to share with you and pull out a few projects from the books, and those will go on the wheel and we'll spin the wheel and go from there. So a lot of fun ahead. But again, thank you for the grace, giving me the time that I need to get to where I need to be so I can finish Stranger Things. All right. The last thing that I want to share with you, and then we are going to head on out for tonight. Do come prepared next week with a project, and maybe come up on the panel. All right, I have an envelope, some happy mail that came in, and I do want to show you what I have been working on. So let me do this happy mail, show you that, and then we're going to head on out and head over to Pam's. But I can't show you the address, but this came from Miss Terry, and you guys, it was so sweet. But let me read you the card first. This card could not have been more perfect for what I'm going through and maybe what some of you are going through. So I hope that it is helpful and encouraging to you as well. But it says, power and purpose, you have both. If this is all I got from Miss Terry, it would have been a huge gift. She has no idea because we've not been able to speak, and I would love for her to be here right now, and I hope she sees this replay to know how valuable this card is. But power and purpose, you have both. I know it, and I hope you do too. And then she went on to say, did you ever finish the God-inspired baby blanket? I'm so hit and miss. Sorry. I'm not 100% sure which blanket that is, but when I find out from her, I will definitely answer that. But she says, I enjoyed your Bible study. I was injured at work, so watching is not consistent. Trying, notifications are funny. Saw this, said joy, so passing it on. Hugs and blessings, Terry from Crafty T 333. But anyway, beautiful card. But you guys, look at what she sent me. They're prayer cards. And it says, inspirational prayer and scripture cards for yourself and others. There's 20 cards in this little box. And it's so cool. They have a different little prayer. So I just plan on putting these on the table in the craft room, and every morning I'm going to read one. I'm just going to read one to you, but it says today's prayer, and it says, oh Lord, my God, I cried to you for help and you healed me. Psalms 32. So see right there, I know my healing is on the way. So Miss Terry, thank you so much for this thoughtful gift, but this card, it said it all. All right. So today, while I was on my play date with Angela, I actually pulled that scrap baby blanket that I was working on back out, and I began working on the border, and I almost got a full round of the border on it, but this is the blanket. So definitely, while I'm hanging over out at Pam's tonight, I will hopefully get the border finished, and that will be a finished make. And again, that's all scrap yarn that I've just blended together. The only other thing that I've really worked on besides our mystery make along with the Joy team, and I hope you were able to see that showcase of the owl pillows that we made that aired on Monday. If not, please go check that out. They did a phenomenal job. We just finished the next project, so that showcase will air in 2-3 weeks from now, because they have 2 weeks after we finish to get their pictures in. And so I'm trying to remember, I had that date in my head when it was going to air, but it'll be in about 2 or 3 weeks, so keep an eye out for it. And that reminds me, I remembered what I was going to tell y'all and I forgot. Something new that I am doing is, many of you say that YouTube doesn't give you notifications of when a content creator is going live or doing something special. I want you to know that I have decided, and I've been doing it for probably about a month now, but even more consistent with providing the link. But if I have a live or a video going out on my channel, then that morning between 9 and 9:30, a reminder will go out on the community post. And in that reminder, it will have a link to that video or to that live. So all you have to do is click on that and boom, you're at the video or you're at the live. So I hope that will be helpful for all of you going forward. Obviously, the only one I can't do that for is watch parties for movie night and Real Delight on Friday night, because those are over in my private Zoom room. But Other than that, every video and live will have the link posted. So all you have to do is click on it. And if you haven't already seen our new Real Delight for May 2nd is going to be the movie Yes Day. So if that's something you're interested in coming and seeing, then definitely send me an email and I will be happy to send that link to you. All right. The owl pillows that the Joy team created and made was a design of my own, and those are the pillows back there. I am going to be doing another pattern for those because those are just pillows, but the ones going forward, I want to put a pocket on the back so that a child's book can get put in it, or the remote control, or a crossword puzzle, or whatever. So I will be doing a second version of those, but the stitch that I used was the single crochet, double crochet, and there's so many different names for it. So it's hard to just call it one stitch name. Wish they would just make one stitch name for all of these instead of having all the different ones, but I love the texture that it created. So I decided to try and make a baby boy sweater using that same texture. And in this case, I was finishing up using the yarn that was left over from making 2 prototypes of the project we just finished, which, by the way, is a beautiful beanie from Candi from Just Another Stitch. So again, that showcase will air in a couple weeks, but I had a little bit of yarn left over. So I used it for my, creating the pattern, and I alternated it and made it into a striped sweater. And I think it turned out really cute, but the pattern was not quite what I wanted it to be, even though there's nothing wrong with this. The biggest thing is I didn't like how square rectangle the sleeves look. Like they just look kind of like a rectangle. I wanted them to have some kind of shape to them. So I still had some of that yarn left over from those 3 skeins. So I created another one, and I did accomplish what I wanted. You can see there's a little bit of shape to the armhole there, and I do like that. So this is a 0 to 3 month size. And this is a, excuse me, I started to say preemie. This is a newborn size. All right, but I still wasn't happy with the way all the stitches were coming out, and I needed to go back and make sure my stitch count was accurate and whatnot. And the reason that the pattern is kind of like this is because I was running out of yarn, and I was wanting to make sure that I could keep all the same colors in it. And I ended up using all of the navy blue and all of the white, but I did have just a tad bit of this kind of teal blue left over. So we'll definitely throw that into a scrap blanket somewhere. But I started another one just to make sure my stitch count was right and test the pattern, like reading it as if it's not my pattern, to make sure everything comes out. Well, I started it in a variegated yarn, and I was making it all in this color. And this is what it looks like. It is Knit Pal Gentle Bliss is the name of the yarn. Kind of wrinkled because they're squished in that plastic bag. But the colorway for this, and it is a light 3, by the way. The colorway is called, what is the colorway called? Well, you guys, I'm not seeing a colorway. Nope, I do not see a colorway. So there is no color name for this. But it is a light 3. It is a 1.76 ounce, which is 50 grams, about 110 yards, 101 meters. It is 100% acrylic. It is made up of fine, thin strands, so it's very easy to have my hook go in between and not catch all of them. So I have to be very careful of that. But I got it because of the color, and it is a navy blue with a hint of like a yellow, a light pink, and a light blue strung through it. But how odd that it doesn't have a color name. It does say it came from China. Interesting, interesting. Looking on here. It just says Gentle Bliss Baby Yarn, 8 skein pack, navy blue, new. I don't know if y'all can see that. So they're just calling it navy blue. But anyway, it was very hard to see. Like you can see the collar very well in this one with the color change. And it was very hard to see and I wasn't liking it. And our lovely Dawn P suggested I go back and put a white collar on it and then do the sweater. I did indeed do that. There's another blooper. Did that. I frogged it and oh my gosh, Dawn, if you're still here, look at the difference it made. So thank you for your suggestion. But how cute that is coming up. It's funny because as I hold this up, it looks like it's black, but it is not. It is navy blue. So I thought that came out really cute. So that is currently what is on my hook. You guys, that is all I have, but we're going to jump to the chat because I see Miss Doris is here. So what fun this is going to be. All right, but let me go jump up into the chat and see what I've missed. And then Miss Doris, I am so glad you are here because you won off the wheel today. This is from the entries that you, the joy word and the comments that you had left on the channel. So that's what this has come from March. And again, if you guys have missed the first part of this live, you might want to go back and check it just to see what the slight changes on the channel are. All right, let me go back up and see. Okay, I found my spot. Awesome, awesome. Margie says, I'm going to Michael's tomorrow. That is about 45 minutes away from me. I might get yarn to use for the mystery make-along. Yay. I am, if you are part of the Joy team, I am trying to put out a video before Monday because when Miss Margie and I were on our play date Tuesday, she had asked me a question about making our, it's my New Zealand friend, y'all, sorry. It's Saturday for them, just like Lisa. So I will call him back in a minute. Anyway, lost my train of thought, sorry. It's calling, all they know on this mystery make along is that it's a wearable and they're going to have to figure out what size they want to make it in, whether they're gifting it to someone or making it for themselves. So they know how much yarn to have. And it's calling for a 4 medium weight yarn. Well, Miss Margie was saying she had some 3-weight yarn that she wanted to use. So we spent our play date looking into how can you adjust a pattern to go from a 4-weight to a 3-weight. And so that video is going to be explaining that. And I know if you're not part of Joy Team that I'm probably losing you here real quick, but hang with me for just a minute. So I'm going to be doing a video to address that. Some of you have said you're having issues finding the yarn you want to use. So I'm hoping to be able to help with that in that video and then kind of explain what we're going to do Monday when we come together. All right. And so I'm so grateful that Miss Margie and I were able to take that time and do some research. All right. That was a sweet card, wasn't it, Tina? Oh, yes. Sonja says, oh, love it, right? Oh, thank you, Tina, for the compliment on the blanket. My little baby boy scrap blanket. Cynthia, can we please chat in the morning and not tonight? We had a long day today and I'm not, my eyes are falling out of my head. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can just call me anytime. All right. Oh, thank you, Tina. Thank you. I do have the pattern for the owl pillows available if anyone is interested. I will be honest, I am going to be selling it to have a little bit of an income coming in. It won't be very much, like maybe $2 or $3. So if you're interested, let me know. Okay. Zach is here. Hello, my beautiful friend. Welcome to the Joy House. You guys, Miss Doris is here. So let's let her pick her prize. Good night, Dawn. Nugs, nugs, nugs. And then we are definitely going to get out of here and head over to Pam's. Y'all, she should know. She should know that when I get excited, I can't get off. All right, Miss Doris, so you won our wheel. So this is something new that I'm doing. And of course, the wheel's going to go quarterly. You'll have to, like I said, catch the first part of this video, this live, to see those changes. But Miss Doris, I have envelopes numbered 1 through 10. And while I know what the prizes are, I don't know which one is in which envelope. I had Mr. Joyful do it so that it would be a surprise to me as well. So, Miss Doris, I need you to pick an envelope 1 through 10. And whatever envelope you pick, that is the prize that you will win. And of course, when that prize comes out, another prize will go in. But Mr. Joyful will all the envelopes and swap them around, so that whatever number she picks, my new prize won't be going in that same envelope. So again, it'll stay a mystery. And she said number 5. So let's go find number 5. There is envelope number 5. So here we go. Let's see what she has won. And this is my typical normal prize. I do have some monetary prizes, but you won a $10 Amazon gift card. So if you will email me and make sure I have your Amazon email. Do you have Amazon? That's another thing I'm learning to ask. Not only do some people have a different email for Amazon versus their everyday email, but also some people don't have Amazon. So if Miss Doris does not have Amazon, then I will find a different way, even if I just drop a $10 bill in the mail to her. But let me see. Do you have Amazon, Miss Doris? We'll give her just a minute to respond. Yes, I do. I will email you. Thank you so much. You are so welcome. All right. Well, I'm excited because like I said, we do have some monetary prizes in here, some yarn and some other stuff I'm just not going to share because then it won't be a surprise. All right. So again, we will spend this again at the end of the quarter. All right. So congratulations. I will get that out to you as soon as I receive that email, Miss Doris. I will go ahead and get that to you so you'll have it right away. Happy Easter, everyone. I hope you have a beautiful and wonderful weekend. I hope your Easter is just full of blessings and joy. And you know what? Don't forget to stop and take time to smell the roses, whether physically or just mentally, and let your joy tank overflow. Be the joy in everything that you do. All right. Thank you, Angela. She says, I have enjoyed being in your live. Good night, everyone. Stay safe. Oops. Well, be joyful, you guys. Stay crafty in your own way. Make your own joyful creations. And above everything else, I do encourage you to be the joy in everything you do. Thank you and God bless.